As I mentioned before, Tom is the director of the local Small Business Development Center. He is a serial entrepreneur, very knowledgeable about business. He has extensive experience managing large companies. Okay, Tom, are you, now your turn, Tom?
All right. All right. Well, hello, everybody. And the first thing, actually, the SBDC is manually helping with the Florida Bridge Loan, which is not an SBA program. And so I'm going to spend some time talking about that. Through a whole host of reasons that I'll get into, that system, because it was so overwhelmed, wasn't able to handle it. And so that's what we're directly involved in. One of the things, and Connie, you probably saw it, I didn't even catch it until last night. It looks like the SBA programs that we're going to talk about, everything changed on the website last night at about 6:30. I think I saw from Bob. So I'm hoping he jumps on the call, because a lot of the things I'm going to tell you will be preliminary before these things happen. So hopefully he can add some more detail to it, because like anything that comes out, it brings up more questions and some more confusion. So hopefully we can kind of sort through some of that, but I know that a lot of it is a work in progress. So we're going to be, I guess, patience is the word of the day. So we'll see what the programs are a little bit, and then how they're going to be rolled out. I think all of that will be revealed in the days to come. None of it is definitive yet. I think, Howard, you alluded to that as well. These are huge, and there is a lot of detail that hasn't really even been ironed out yet. So it isn't going to be a matter of money is going to show up immediately. It's going to take some time. And so again, we're giving that guidance to all of our clients too, to just relax, enjoy your warm beverage of choice, and just kind of read as you can, listen, and then understand that things may change over time. So be patient with it all. The first thing I'm going to talk about, if you don't mind advancing, Connie, will be the Florida Bridge Loan.
Tom, I'm here if you need me for anything. This is Bob, just so you know.
Thank you, Bob. That gives me solace, because as you alluded to in your email, a whole lot changed. So I'm sure to speak out of turn here. So please stop me.
Oh no, we're all on one team. This is one group. We're going to figure it out together, and don't worry about it. We're all together. So
excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Excellent. So the Florida Bridge Loan was a pot of money that the state of Florida, not SBA, and that's where I'm going to continue to couch that, put in $50 million, which would be bridge loans. As you can see on your screen, these are for small businesses. You can back up.
Oh, sorry.
These are small loans to small businesses just to get them through. They're $25,000 or $50,000 loans, up to $100,000 with special approvals. But for the most part, these are small amounts of money just to simply get businesses through the crisis. They are 12-month loans at 0 interest. However, they are to be paid back in 12 months. If they're not paid back in 12 months, they actually are technically going into default, and that will trigger a 12% interest rate. So these are strictly for a 12-month period to be paid back immediately. These have a lower credit stringency, down to 620 on a personal credit, and that explains that it is a personal loan. These are for small businesses, but the owner's credit will be how the committee actually makes some of the determination. There's no collateral on these loans. And so again, this versus the SBA loans that you saw are for nonprofits. These are strictly for for-profit companies here in the state of Florida. One of the things that you will see is that with the EIDL loan, which are longer, more conventional types of loans, these bridge loans can be satisfied with the proceeds from those EIDL loans if those companies are also applying for those. And we are highly encouraging people that, or businesses that do apply for these bridge loans, to also be applying for their EIDL loans as well. Go ahead, Connie, you can move forward. So what ended up happening is eventually, initially that this was going to be accessible through the Florida Disaster.org website. And immediately, because you can imagine what the volume was, that website was not able to accommodate it. So DEO got involved and created a new website with a Salesforce backend. And honestly, that was a development. It was a development environment. So it too was not able to handle that volume. So unfortunately, a lot of people applied online, received a confirmation that the application went through, but it actually went into a holding pattern. So nobody could advance those. So immediately they engaged us, the SBDC, to manually take over that process. And so what we did was for the folks that reached out to us, we diverted them from the website and said, here's a manual application that we email to them. They complete it. And then all the same required documentation, they email to us. We then upload that to FFC, Florida Financial Corporation. They perform the credit check. We receive that credit check back, and then we assemble all of the documentation and we take a look at it, see how the credit is, how the company's doing. And then based on what we see and the narrative from those businesses, we write a very short to the point memo to the loan committee. And the loan committee, by the way, is made up of bankers and other volunteers that are giving their time, and Bob is one of them. They are going through a lot of these, probably as many as 11 and 12 at a time, going through each one of those, trying to figure out if the business has the ability to pay back. And when I write that memo, I'm keeping in mind that I'm a Florida taxpayer too, and that's where that money's coming from. So they are going through that whole process to see if the company has the ability to pay that back, and then they can approve or deny. Once they do, FFC writes the denial letter for those that don't go through. And by the way, the majority of these loans are being approved. Once they're approved, Maggie, who is our SBDC loan committee chair, she will tell me verbally, and then I reach out to the client to say, good news, it's been approved verbally, just hold the line. And when I receive the closing package, which I do, once I have all of that, I then can send that electronically to the client, and they're able to execute that and sign it with the help of a notary to execute that loan. I then receive everything back, and then I upload it back to FFC. The good news is once that whole package is completed, it's done accurately, it goes to FFC. Within 48 hours, actually, funds are then transferred to the client's account. So while it's not the cleanest process in the world, we are getting them through. And again, through the wonderful work of the loan committees and all of those volunteers, we are getting money into the hands of small businesses. Again, I mentioned to you that it was a $50 million set aside. And if you do the math in your head, $50 million divided by the thousands of companies across the state that would be applying for this, that money will be exhausted before very long at all. We've been told anecdotally that may receive an additional injection of money, but as we sit here right now, I have no information on that. So you can answer that.
Tom, before we move to the next slide, I would like to tell the audience that if you need to find your local SBDC, Small Business Development Center, to apply for these loans. Remember, do not go to websites that don't have the .gov extension, because there are a lot of scammers getting into your financials. So be very careful. Just go to the SBDC and work with them. Like Tom is our local SBDC director, and our Volusia County clients go to Tom. Now, if there is somebody from Orlando, the Small Business Development Center in Orlando will handle those applications. So please contact their local office there at the National Entrepreneur Center. Okay, Tom, let's continue.
Yeah, so yes, and I'm the only one in Volusia County, so Volusia County businesses go directly to me.
Okay.
Again, I've gotten really good at this, and with the help of my cat on my lap, I'm able to crank these out pretty quickly. So again, patience. Again, just to kind of review the documentation that we need for the bridge loan, the application, of course, 2017 and 2018 business and individual tax returns. Again, a reminder, this is a personal loan. If they don't have their 2019 taxes, that's better. But if they can provide us their 2019 P&L, that's great as well. We also want to receive some sort of narrative to how's the company doing. So a year-to-date 2020 P&L is very helpful. I encourage them, if there are any sort of credit anomalies or if there was a loss in one of those years, to explain those to us. Was it a one-time accounting event? I need that to include in the memo so that the loan committee has a reasonable picture for how did the company do. If there's something on the credit that shows an anomaly, give me those explanations. If the company all of a sudden is doing very well in 2020, that's super. Provide a customer list. Provide an accounts receivable aging report. Anything that can give good optics to the loan committee so they can really get a feel for how is the company doing, and again, are they going to be able to pay this loan back? Go ahead, you can advance, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is just kind of a review, so if you can sort of follow the money, it comes to me, somebody reaches out to me on email, we get the manual application, all those documents that I just referred to. I then go and manually get the FC, also needs to be complemented. They're dealing with tremendous volume. So they're not just dealing with Tom Daly's Volusia County clients, they're dealing with the entire state, and they are really turning it around very quickly. I'm really impressed with how well everybody is working through this process. Again, once the credit check comes back to me, I review everything with my experience, and I'm trying to be logical and with my business eye, does this make sense? I go back to the client for those questions to hopefully give the loan committee a reasonable amount of documentation that they can quickly review. Once they review it, they give the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Once again, most of the loans are going through. They're doing tremendous work. Once they say yes, FFC gives me the closing package. I then interface with the client to get it executed, give me all the documentation I need to make it an official closed loan. Then once I upload it, within 48 hours later, they're receiving the funds. So that's the bridge loan. Before I go forward, again, state of Florida has nothing to do with SBA. It's strictly what we're doing manually, and the process is working. A little bit cumbersome, I know, and I gotta give kudos to the clients too. They're really being very patient with the process, and that's terrific. Any questions anybody has about the bridge loan itself? Kimberly? Turn your mute off.
There we go. I was looking for it. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. I was wondering, I made application for the bridge loan on March the 23rd, and it was done through the Salesforce process, and I did it for both our media company as well as our electric company. I've gone back in, I checked, it says the status, everything's uploaded. I've received an email moving forward to the EIDL. I just don't know the status, and we haven't heard anything. Is this common, or do I need to do something?
Yeah.
Might it be in that hold position, like you said, through Salesforce?
Yes, it's so I know it sounds discouraging, but all of the time when the websites went down happened after you submitted. So right now, yours is one of the ones that's in hold. So what I would encourage you to do is reach out to me directly on email. And what we do is, if you're not already an SBDC client, I'll give you just a quick link where you just fill that out quickly so I can help you. And then I'll be able to probably get a lot of the documents off of the website, but some of them I'm going to have you just send back to me, and we're just going to end run the process. I know that sounds crazy, but it's working.
That's good. I was all impressed. I was number 370, the number application, and I knew it was supposed to take 72 hours, and then I heard 2 weeks. So this is new information, and I appreciate it.
So it's you're number one in our heart, though. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
But honestly, what's happening is they are trying to rake through the process now, and they will get to those and try to deal with those. But in the interest of time and practicality, what I'm doing is everybody that I hear from, yourself, anybody that's coming my way, we're end running the process, because when I can get the documents, I can make things happen and I can get it to the loan committee. Yours will be worked, it'll be worked, and they're working furiously through that. But honestly, again, I go back to the $50 million and how many people are applying.
Sure.
My guidance, not knowing anything else, please just reach out to me directly and let's end run the system. And don't worry, because obviously there'll be a duplicate scenario going on there, but it's not like they're going to process another loan on your behalf. We just work through the system. So I know that sounds crazy, but I know what works too.
So Kimberly, we're working. So Kimberly, this is Bob. We're working.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, how you doing? We're working through, we have packages. So like I have the packages for today's loan. So there's 11 loans that have been prepared for today. We had a group of 5 bankers yesterday. There's another 5 on Tuesday. We've got another loan committee coming on Monday. So while we're doing our regular work like you guys, we're also looking at each one of these sets of documents. And if there's 300, we've hit probably 75 or 80 so far as Tom does them. And we're churning them out each day and getting a little bit better on them. So probably middle of next week, we'll be up to where we need to be. So I think we'll catch up real quickly.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's continue with the EIDL loan.
Okay. So again, this is where I'm going to lean on you, Bob, a little bit, but this is the website, and again, everything changed last night.
Yeah, everything changed last night. So could we, I know we not want to skip around. This is a really good option. The PPP loan is probably the key one. So if you want to kind of run through this, and then we'll go back and we can go over this again if we need to, okay? So why don't we run through it now? This is a disaster relief loan that is the longer term, larger one. And yeah, so if we run through this now, and then we'll go back to the SBA CARES loan.
So hold on, I have a question here from one of our attendees. Is good morning, I'm in Flagler County. Where is my SBDC? I understand it was closed. It used to be at the town center. Tom, are Flagler County businesses go to Daytona State College SBDC, or where are they going?
They're going to UCF.
Oh, university. Okay, so
and they are being supported. We don't officially support Flagler County because I guess we were asked to leave. But the UCF, there is one of me, a consultant, Hal Thayer, who is handling the Flagler folks. And so, yeah, it's the UCF SBDC.
And our group is looking at all the loans through Flagler, Volusia. We're also out into Seminole, into Orlando. So we're covering the whole coast.
Yes, so I'm reading the questions, and Nico, yes, we are going to talk about the unemployment information after Bob's talk. And then I have another question, which is a very good question from Nico, is why would you go for this loan instead of the straight to EIDL? So Tom, do you want to answer the question? What's your thought about it?
Yeah, so the reason you want to is, frankly, we can get that money immediately. It's a shrinking pot as time goes on. Hopefully it will receive another injection, but obviously we have no I have no information on that yet, but these loans are going through now. It's providing capital to small businesses to continue their operations. The SBA part, and again, I'm going to keep deferring to Bob because it's all new to me. Those processes are under construction. They're happening, but I don't think we're going to see disbursement of funds from those for a little while. The bridge loan, we're able to get those through, and those funds they're becoming available now.
And then we're going to be talking about the PPP, which is the payment program.
Payroll, yep.
Payment payroll program, and that is a new initiative. Bob is going to cover that program, which is amazing, you know, what they have to offer with that program. And I have had some questions from other clients. Should I just wait for the PPP before applying for this program? So at the end of this session, we're going to write to conclusions. What's the base step to take now, today, okay? Great, so I have no more questions in my chat, so let's continue, Tom.
Okay, and as Bob said, there's a lot of detail here, so I'll just do the 30,000 foot level of what the EIDL loan is, and I know we'll probably get back into that because, yeah, it sounds like the PPP is got a lot there, and I can't really speak to that where Bob can. But again, on the SBA side, all we're doing at the SBDC is providing information, and we're reading it as quickly as we possibly can, and getting guidance from our partners at the SBA. And frankly, our bankers are providing way more information to us than anybody else. But for the time being, the Emergency Injury Disaster Loan Program is built off of the same disaster loan that we've seen for occurrences like the hurricanes in the past. So this was the same mechanics, but this is specifically for the pandemic, the one we're talking about right now. So if you see that website out there, it changed overnight, but when you click there, you'll see that there's a yellow band across the top. And when you click on that, it specifically is about the COVID-19 event. And when you click on that, that whole website completely changed, and it has a whole host of information on all the programs. But the EIDL part, I use that acronym, it's just easier, the Emergency Injury Disaster Loan, that portion of it is up to $2 million. It's more of a conventional business loan. It's 3.75%. This is available to nonprofits as well as for-profit businesses, and terms can be as long as 30 years. So much longer, more conventional type of loan. It too is going to have lower credit stringency, in fact, even lower than the bridge loan. These funds come directly from the US Treasury. They're not coming from banks, which kind of adds a whole other host of, you know, how banks are able to help so many clients. And I know Bob can speak to that as well. I can't see those loans. People that we're helping are like, Tom, I put in my SBA loan. Can you tell me what status it's in? We have no ability to do that, I'm afraid, but we still guide people and try to tell them, here, do this, ask who you're working with at your bank, et cetera, but we have no way of seeing what's going on with those loans, unfortunately. We also, again, say, people are saying, why should I do the bridge loan? Well, the bridge loan is immediate. And I always say, if you're applying for the bridge loan, I would apply for the EIDL immediately, because not only will it be able to satisfy perhaps your bridge loan, but it's much broader in scope. It's going to allow you to have the assets you're going to need to continue to run your business for a much longer period of time. And once again, this is available to nonprofits, so churches, YMCA, anybody that wouldn't be for-profit, that wouldn't qualify for a bridge loan, they would qualify for the EIDL loan. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of my 30,000 foot on the EIDL piece. If you advance, this is probably the little graphic that I have is it may not even be current, but advance to the next slide if you would.
Okay, hold on. When I have the chat on, it doesn't go to the slide. Hold on. I don't know what in here. Hold on. Is that one the next one?
Yeah, that's it. So this is the last slide I have, and it was put together by Texas SBDC, and I just love graphics that sort of try to sort through very complex issues of which one does what with the PPP. So I just threw it out there on my slide, but my
I
guess,
like that.
anything
Tom,
further I would say about PPP would be out of turn.
no, that's good.
Mhm. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. I don't know what's okay. So now we are going to move to Bob Loblo.